Funny, ain't it? How a single stitch can unravel an entire world. Mine did, in the summer of '57, with a needle, a scrap of felt, and a poodle that wasn't even real. But Lord, that little dog carried the weight of every dream I'd ever buried. Betty Miller was 16 when she snipped the shape of rebellion into existence. Oakridge, Ohio, was the kind of town where porch swings creaked with gossip and church bells set the rhythm of life. Her mama, Margaret, widowed young, stiff as starched linen, believed in rules like scripture. "Decency keeps the darkness out," she'd say, scrubbing linoleum as if sin pooled in the grout. So when Betty stitched that poodle onto her skirt by lamplight, she knew it wasn't just fabric she was piercing. It was the iron curtain of '50s conformity. Mama found it. "Scandalous," she hissed, scissors flashing like a guillotine. "Only fast girls invite attention, Betty." But the next morning, Betty walked to school wearing that skirt like armor. The whispers followed, trashy, reckless, wrong, until a girl named Doris touched the poodle's sequin collar and whispered, "Teach me." Overnight, poodles bloomed on hemlines across Oakridge High. Principal Higgins called it anarchy in applique. Enter James Kelly. Transferred from Pittsburgh's Steeltown shadows, he wore a leather jacket so black, it swallowed the light. Teachers eyed him like a lit fuse. "Trouble's his middle name," folks muttered. But when Betty saw him sketching rock and roll notes in the margins of his algebra book, she recognized a fellow dreamer. He tossed her a grin. "Nice smut, but it needs teeth." Their plan hatched in Martha's Sweets, a soda shop where cherry cokes cost a nickel and the jukebox played Redemption. James knew an abandoned barn on Miller's Creek. "A secret sock hop," Betty proposed, "where we dance like nobody's watching, because they ain't." They spread the word in code, the poodles barking Friday night. Doris smuggled fabric. James wired a radio to a car battery. And for one electric night, under strung-up fairy lights, teens swayed in rolled-up jeans, ribbon ponytails, and jackets that smelled of rebellion and motor oil. Betty didn't see the man lurking in the hayloft. Not until his camera flashed. Sam Greeley, Oakridge's rumpled newspaperman who usually wrote about prize pumpkins, lowered his Nikon. "I've been tracking this story since Doris's mama told me her daughter's corrupted," he confessed. But Sam wasn't there to expose them. He handed Betty a yellowed photograph, a young soldier in a zoot suit, grinning beside a jitterbugging girl. "That's your daddy," Sam said softly. "And that's Margaret. They danced where they weren't supposed to, too." Mama's silence that night was a storm. Betty found her at dawn, staring at Sam's photo, her knuckles white around a coffee cup. "Your father, they called him unpatriotic for that suit," she rasped. "He died in Korea 6 months later. I promised myself I'd keep you safe from sharp eyes and sharper tongues." Betty's rebellion wasn't just fashion. It was a ghost she'd resurrected. Sam's article hit like a bomb. Teens defy convention in secret dance of joy. Oakridge's elders convened at town hall, wood-paneled walls echoing with outrage. Pastor Wells thundered about moral decay. Principal Higgins demanded expulsions. And then Mayor Thornton, James's own uncle, pointed at the leather jacket. "This hoodlum is the rot at the core." James stood, slow, deliberate. "You know about rot, uncle?" He unbuttoned his jacket, revealing a scarred steelworker's tattoo. "My pop worked your mills till they broke him. You fired him for union talk. Mama died because we couldn't afford a doctor. But you?" James's voice cracked. "You paid for your son's Harvard with our pain." The mayor's face collapsed. The room froze. Then the double doors swung open. Margaret Miller, in her church best dress, marched down the aisle. She didn't look at Betty. She looked at the mayor. "You're right to fear these kids," she declared. "They remind you that joy ain't a sin." Asterisk. She opened the box. Inside lay a moth-eaten flapper dress, beaded with forgotten jazz. I wore this in 32. My daddy burned my records, said I'd end up ruined. Her eyes found Betty's. I let fear cut my music short. I won't let it cut yours. The vote came swift. No expulsions, no bans. Instead, Oakridge High hosted an open sock hop, police escort and all. Teens waltzed in Poodle skirts under the gym lights, James's rock and roll shaking the rafters. And Margaret Miller? She slow danced with Sam Greeley, who'd loved her since that Zoot Suit summer. You think this story's about hemlines? Nah, it's about the threads that connect us, the ones we snap and the ones we darn back together. I'm James Kelly. Betty's been gone 20 years now, but every Sunday I polish her poodle skirt, the one in the Smithsonian glass case, and I smile at the little secret stitched inside the hem, a patch of black leather right where her heart would be. Turns out, rebellions ain't about shock. They're about love that refuses to fade. What's your story, friend? I'd bet it's got a hidden stitch or two.